Tuesday. I am super excited. I love the fact that you guys always tune in to Own It, to this featured hour exclusively here on the streaming platforms. And hello, my loves. I hope that you guys are having an amazing holiday season. I know I saw you guys on Thanksgiving, but I hope that you guys are planning to have an amazing Christmas and an amazing New Year's. And I hope it's been magical for everyone. So, welcome to Own It. Welcome to Own It. If you don't know it yet, or if you're not familiar with myself and what the show is about, hello, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Cicely. I am Cuban, which is why I go by that Cuban girl. And for the last 10 years, I have been in Los Angeles, California, pursuing a career in entertainment. I've done a little bit of everything from, from acting. I've been a ring girl for boxing fights. I am still a model. I am a former Miss Cuba. I've done a little bit of everything in the entertainment world, and I'm pretty familiar with it. And I currently live in LA, still working and booking and performing, as much as possible. So my intention sorry guys, my intention with this feature show is for you and I to become the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are. I believe that we're all different, and that is what makes us unique. Everybody has a story that's worth sharing, and that is what I do here on Own It with you guys. I have two amazing guests that are going to be part of the show today. And I just love the fact that they're going to be here, and I'm going to be able to share my story and their story. We're going to be able to have amazing conversations today, hopefully, and we're going to be able to share wisdom and inspire and uplift everyone out there. I do want to say a couple of reminders. Reminder number one, this is a featured show, which means that I'm not going to be able to acknowledge each and every one of you individually as I usually would in a regular stream. Why? Because feature shows, if you didn't know, we have a format that we have to follow. We have rules that we have to follow. But I do want to let you know that my comment box is on. I see you all. I see all the love, all the gifts, all the support, and I appreciate you all. And the second announcement is please keep it respectful because it is a feature show, even if it wasn't a feature show, but because it is a feature show and we're on the main page, keep it respectful, refrain from profanity, and make sure that you favorite and that you are supporting my guests and myself. And we just want good vibes here, you guys, and I would really appreciate that. And announcement number three is that something that I do at the end of every single show, just as a thank you to everyone for being here and for sharing your amazing energy and support, is whoever obviously I'm going to be shouting out people, of course, just giving shout outs throughout the show, but I just, whoever's my top supporter of the entire stream will become my newest bouncer on here. So yeah, that's what I wanted to let you guys in a little bit and what's going to happen from now on. And so welcome to Own It. With that said, welcome to Own It. I Own It is all about you and I becoming the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are. I have two amazing guests every single Tuesday. Yes, emoji, I said two. I don't have the other person's bio, and that's something I need to make the introductions. I always also, having three guests is a lot. Two is the perfect number, so we can always schedule her for next week. Yes, let's reschedule her, but I do need her bio. Every time before the show, I always ask my guests for a bio because I need to be able to introduce them. And so, yeah, with that said, I always have two amazing guests during the show that, we share conversations and inspiration. And I hope you guys really enjoy it today. So with that said, let me share with you guys the topic of the show. The topic of the show today is loving yourself as you age. loving yourself as you age. And the reason I wanted to make this the topic of today is simply because um, number one, I felt very inspired by one of my guest bio, and this is a reason why I asked my guests for bios before the show starts, because I want to get to know them a little bit, and also because it helps me create the topic of the day, right? Because I want to make the topic something that it's relatable for all of us, and something that can inspire us and help other people and uplift us. And so this number one, this topic was inspired by one of my guests today. Her bio is really inspiring, and I hope that when I'm her age, I can do as many things as she's doing, because she sounds like an amazing, amazing person. And and also the other reason why I also wanted to make this a topic today is because it's something that, as a woman, I've found myself struggling with. I found myself struggling with this for a while, because as you age, as a woman especially, there tends to be a lot of pressure and just a lot of just pressure on ourselves. And I think aging is such a beautiful thing. And so I'm excited to talk today about my guests about this. Um, I'm going to make a quick pause, and emoji, can you just take care of that, please? Because, while I'm on the show, I'm sorry, this is something we should have talked about before the show. While I'm on the show, I want to give everyone my undivided attention. So please take care of that, emoji J. Thank you. And shout out to my amazing admin emoji J, who helps me book in the guests and who's always there for me. I couldn't do the show without him, I always say, because it's true. Anyways, you guys, so with that said, welcome to Own It. And I want to invite my first guest on the box. Let me see um, who's going to request the guest box first. Let me see. Okay, perfect. So, my first guest of the day, like I said, is someone who truly inspired today's topic, and I'm really excited to get to know her. She's 64 years old. She's a stand-up comedian. She's experienced in live theater, performing, producing, and costume design. She loves to make people laugh, and she's also a featured show host. Please, everybody, welcome to the show, Fairy Godmother.
Hello, nice to meet
Hi.
you.
It's so nice to meet you. Welcome to Own It.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, I loved your bio, by the way. As soon as I read it, I was like, I need to talk to her about all of it, because I just love how much, everything you're doing at your age, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I love your costume, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, that's where the theater stuff came in. When the name came together, then it was like, because everybody calls me Godmother, or was before I was a streamer, when I just jumped around. And so yeah, I kind of added the fairy, and away it went.
I love that. So is that where the fairy costume and fairy came about?
Yeah, I think just because of my age, I wanted it to be funny, and it surprises me how many people think I'm serious. I mean, like seriously, I'm 64 dressed as a fairy godmother, but what girl doesn't want to wear a tiara, right?
Yeah,
So
we
the
all
tiara
do.
started it, the godmother thing, and then I just added the wings, and it's just what I do, and I tell stories about my life, things that have happened, and what it was like to grow up in the 60s and 70s and try and find out about sex. Like, my mother's advice or sex education was, nice girls don't do it. And
We
I
can
said, do
talk about that
what?
on the we can talk about that on the feature show, but
Oh,
I know what
sorry.
you mean.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's
Sorry.
okay. It's okay.
So, yeah. So I just, tell stories about what it was like growing up in those times and how different. We didn't have Google and that sort of thing. But I have done a lot of things in my personal life to, when you talk about um, the aging process, you can either embrace it and have adventures, or you can worry about every little line on your face. Normally, I mean, I don't really have makeup on now. I was always kind of a tomboy, and growing up in where I live in British Columbia, Canada, um, you hike, I scuba dive, I've flown a plane. I've got 30 hours flying a plane. I've worked with search and rescue, helicopter. Yeah, I've got my PADI for scuba diving, a kayak, but then I broke my back horseback riding, and that's how I found streaming. Um, because I was stuck by myself. I've been married 3 times. Don't
Wow.
come at me. Um, and yeah, so I just jumped in I was on the dating site and bored with that too, and just jumped in the live streaming and just started pressing buttons, and it was a lifesaver for me. It really was, because I was stuck. I
I
could.
love how there's so many inspirational stories like that on the app,
Mhm.
and I love that streaming has allowed a lot of us to relate to other people and be able to meet one another and share experiences with one another, and ultimately help us not feel alone. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about streaming.
Yeah. And I think too that, as much as they come at me in verses about my age, I mean, that doesn't bother me at all. But truly, you should get to know an older person. They are our crystal ball into your future. We've gone through so much of the stuff that you're going to go through, and so we are resources for you. And there's a lot of us like me who are very open about things that obviously I can't talk on a featured show. But, I mean, there's a lot of older people on this stream. You'd be amazed. And they're
Oh,
quite
I
willing to
know.
share. Yeah, and they're quite willing to share their experiences because, as I say, you're going to go through a lot of stuff that we've been through. Relationship mistakes, what we would do different, how we've taken ownership for it. I have anyway. I don't sit and bash my ex. Well, one of them. But I take responsibility for some of the things that went wrong. And I think you have to do that in your life as you age, or you'll just become crotchety and miserable. And we only have so much time. Like, that's a wake up call for me every day I wake up, is that there's a long road behind me, not so long in front of me, especially being active. So, I think you just have to take that leap of faith. I've always said no risk, no reward in life. If you don't take that risk, and if you fail, learn from it and move on.
Yeah, what's something that you would have done differently looking back?
Um, I wouldn't have got married the times that I did because it was for the wrong reasons. It was a generational thing. I had been a single mom for 10 years. My husband had cheated on me when I was pregnant, and he was my high school sweetheart. It was devastating for me. So I was on my own for 10 years, and I wanted a dad for my daughter, you know, and I didn't consider my own feelings. And that's ridiculous because it's never going to work. So if I could go back and do it over, I would have stayed single or waited for the right time because we were happy. I didn't need a man financially. I had a really good job. So, you as much as you want to provide for your kids and the best for your kids, she wasn't any happier. She knew I wasn't happy. So, yeah, I would have tried to draw on more strength of myself and more confidence in myself that I could do it until I met the right person. Because in those days, you did not live with people, you got married. I grew up
Mm.
in a very Anglican
Do you
household,
think,
and yeah.
I'm curious about that because you lived in a whole different era that we live on right now, right? In your opinion, since you've seen both, do you think that it was easier, relationships were easier back in the day, or not really?
Were they easier? Um, no, I think they were harder in a different way because there was such a lack of knowledge. Our parents didn't share things like that with us, and there certainly was no education in school, and nobody talked about things like that. Nobody talked about, intimacy with you, at least sure not anybody I knew. And so, even though I married my high school sweetheart, we both went in very ignorant of relationships, intimacy. So I think I think it's gone the other way. If you wanted me to be honest, is that I think it's too, you know, hookups, and it's too easy in and out of relationships. There's something better on the other side. They're never satisfied. It's not like,
Yeah,
I'll,
yeah.
okay,
No, and
this
I,
is
I
this is
wanted
a
to.
first. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I wanted to know your opinion because from where I'm standing, right, being a little younger, I think that relationships nowadays are so much harder, but also I don't have a way to compare it to like the 60s or the 70s, right? But I'm now like, oh my gosh, there's so many options. People don't commit to marry anymore. Some do,
Yeah,
but it's very rare, right? And it's easy
yeah.
to
Why, when you can get your milk right from the cow? Why buy the cow?
and people meet online now so much easier too, but people discard people, if they're not happy in their relationship. Oh, I'll just meet somebody else and they'll be better. And it's just messy these days. So I just kind of wanted to know how you
It is.
felt about that.
Well, I'm experiencing that. I'm single, and I've been single for 3 years. And yeah, men say oh yeah, I want a long-term relationship, but they want into your bed so fast, and I'm 64. Like, you wouldn't believe the number of guys but I do the coffee date, and I know right away if there's even a potential. But after 3 years, I have finally met the most amazing, amazing guy. I have not said this in my stream or anything, so you are getting a special announcement.
Oh, congratulations. That makes me so happy.
Yeah. And it was worth it to hold out. I had the boxes to tick, and I don't want to say someone's perfect, but there are things that you go, yeah, I can live with that. That's not a big deal. But he treats me like a queen. He pays attention to me, won't let me get out of the car without him opening it. Now, you may come at me about, oh, well, feminist and all that. I've taken care of so many people all my life. I am happy to have someone take care of me. And he brings me flowers, and like, everything's amazing, right? The stuff I can't say.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I know exactly what I want in that area. He wants to take care of me. He's very intelligent, structural engineer. Like, we just click. And you know what? Okay. If you looked at him physically, you might judge him. He's not the perfect whatever, but my expectations at 64 are more about what's in here and what's in here. I don't care. As long as you're not going to die on me, that you got some life in you. And he's
Well,
younger.
I'm going to tell you, my expectations at not 64 are the same as yours because I have been so tired of giving myself and, putting myself out there and being my best self and being respectful and loyal and all these things. And I was actually having this conversation with my best friend the other day, just 2 days ago. Her and I were talking about how women are expected so much, and we're expected to be super women. Like literally, we're expected to, when we have, I don't have kids yet, but the conversation stems from one of my friends, one of my guy friends, basically telling me how, he's married and he's just kind of just saying how, like, my wife, it's all about the kid now. It's, blah, blah, blah. And I'm there explaining to him and explaining, and then after that, talking to my
He
best friend,
doesn't
and
get it.
I'm like, the women are expected. I'm not a mom, but I can only imagine having a kid. It's like we're expected to be mothers, to be wives, to be lovers, to take care of the men. So we are feminists if we expect the men to open the door, to be a provider, to be emotionally supportive, but we're expected to do all the other stuff. And
Well, and it's so important, and this is what I love about my guy is attention to detail. Like he remembers things that I like and my favorite colors. And men, I think, or and women in relationships forget to remember the details. Like the guy you're talking about who's bitching, why doesn't he go to his wife and say, you know what, I got you a massage at the spa tonight, go have candlelights, I got the baby, this is, like gestures. Not, gestures are just so important. Do you know how much a woman would just like want to eat you up? Like that would be so amazing to me for a guy. And just once, just do it once, you know?
yeah, I mean, every situation's a little different. Of course, I'm not gonna
Of
get into
course.
details now, but every situation's different. But I'm totally with you in the sense that we as women are expected to be super women. We're just expected to be able to handle everything and have superpowers. But then we ask something of a man because we want them to be men, and then the second we start asking for more, then we are crazy, or we are asking for too much, or we're feminist,
Hormonal.
or all these things, so
We,
my standards now are this high. I don't know if you can see this high,
yeah,
because
mine have been too. And that's why I've been single and not even dating for months and months. And, but I was going to say to you, we are super women. We can grow a human being. Like, think about that.
not
My
one
daughter
totally.
threw that at her husband because he said something about tiding, and she's like, I'm growing a human. And we
Just
go
to,
through
just
that
to, clar-
pain.
just to clarify to the person in the comments, which I never do, I'm not talking to him. This is a friend of mine. You were not here for the beginning of the conversation. So I just want to ask everybody to be respectful and actually listen before you give your opinion, because we're not talking about that right now.
And we're not male bashing. It's just my experiences with my husbands, and men that I've dated or whatever. I've always been the breadwinner in the household. I've always been a caregiver. I felt like I had two kids. And, so you want to be really careful about finding someone who's going to be a partner,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I just want to make a quick
Unless
pause and
that's not what you
welcome
want. I don't
everybody
know.
to Own It. Welcome to this featured hour with me, Cicely, aka that Cuban girl. And today we're talking about aging, basically, loving yourself as you age. And the topic today is inspired by my beautiful guest here, Fairy Godmother. And am I lagging a little bit? I feel like I'm lagging. Am I good?
Not to me.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, you guys, welcome to Own It. On Own It, we talk. The intention of Own It is for you and I to become the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are. And I just love talking to my guest today. Please make sure that you favor her, that you show up to her streams. She has amazing energy. So, Fairy Godmother, I want to ask you, you seem to be the kind of person that you have your inner child just by the way that you play dress up, and you're saying, you told me about your stand-up comedian. How did that happen, the whole stand-up comedian thing?
It was kind of a dare. This pub that we go to, was having a talent night, and I'm always telling jokes in groups and stuff like that. And so this girl dared me to do it, and I signed up, then I backed out. Then I signed up, then I backed out. And the night they did it, somebody dropped out, and she literally grabbed my arm and threw me on stage. And luckily, I had prepared some stuff, but a lot of it was improv. And I just did it, and because I can't tell you the stories on here, um, women were just going nuts. Just like, especially women. But yeah, the place went nuts, and it's such a, again, a word I can't use on here, but it's such a rush, the adrenaline you get. And that's why it's really hard to do a stream stand-up comedy, because you feed off the audience so much. You know, their reactions, their laughter, and all of that sort of thing. But yeah, I loved it. So, but I do improv in my stream all the time. I go on to Role Model Freshes whenever I can, acting out, because I just love doing improv. And my daughter is a professional actor, singer in London, England. So she dragged us into the theater at 9 years old.
I love that. Well, I want to quickly translate a comment that someone wrote to you in Spanish. So Henderson said, "How beautiful is this lady?" So people
Thank
are
you.
saying that you're beautiful, that you look like Queen Elizabeth, which I take as a
I get
compliment.
that a lot. Yeah.
Amazing. So, Fairy Godmother, before I let you go, I want to ask you to give a word of advice for everyone on here today.
To quote Disney, let it go.
That's my tattoo.
Let it go. Yeah. You'll have to come in my stream sometime. I have a recording of my daughter singing it.
Okay, sounds good.
But yeah, let it go and move on.
I love that. That has been the motto of my entire year, and it has worked wonders for me. Like I showed you, I got it tattooed on my wrist, on my arm. It's a daily reminder. Just let it go, move on, be happy, practice detachment, work on yourself. I love that.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
I love
Thank
that.
you for having me.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, don't go anywhere if you have time, because at the end of the show, I like to bring both my guests at the same time in the box. So if you can stay to the end. If not, it's okay, but I just wanted to let you know.
If I'm not here, I do have an appointment at 3. I can be a few minutes late. It's only a minute away, but so I'll see how your time goes. So if I don't come back, thank you for having me, and thanks everyone for gifts, watching, whatever.
Of course. Thank you for being on the
Very
show.
blessings. Bye.
Bye. That was such a wonderful conversation, you guys. That ending really made my day, because when she said let it go, I'm like, yep, I literally have it tattooed on me as a forever reminder. And I love that, someone who's a little older, we can still relate even though we're generations apart. Like we can totally relate in what we think, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm on the right path with my healing and the things that I talk about and practice every single day. I'm all about action, you guys, and I don't just say things to say them. I'm not perfect, but 98% of the time I say something, I do it, right? So I love that. Thank you, Fairy Godmother, for being on Own It. And to you guys who are here, I want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be part of this featured hour. I appreciate you all. I see you all. I love you all. And I hope that your holiday season's been amazing. But don't go anywhere, because the show's not over yet. We still have time in this featured hour, okay? I want to take a quick pause before I continue with the show and acknowledge a lot of people that I'm seeing on here that are that you guys are regulars. You guys are always on my show. So let me go up a little bit. Peter, thank you for being here. Who else? Lugs, thank you for being here. Velma, thank you for being here. I'm gonna see you in a little bit. Who else is here? I saw Vampy earlier. Thanks, Vampy. King Goober. King Goober, thanks for being here. Who was my guest last time? Let me see who else I can give shout outs to. I don't see. Well, sorry, guys. Oh, I saw Culinary earlier too. Thank you, Kuli, for being here and showing up. And is that Tim the Trucker? I can't see. Oh, Trucker Baby. Well, anyways, guys, thank you for showing up and being here. And like I mentioned, whoever is my top supporter at the end of the stream is going to become my newest bouncer. So I'm going to go ahead and give a quick shout out to my top 5 supporters of the stream today. And number 5 is Ben. Thank you, Ben. Number 4, Angel Moreno. I didn't even see him here. He came and he laughed like Houdini. Did not even realize he was here. Number 3, King Goober, thank you so much. Number 2, Celian Drawings. Number 1, Just Roar. Thank you, Just Roar, for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much for being part of Own It, for showing your support. And well, if you are new on here, my name is Cicely. I go by That Cuban Girl. And you feel free to follow me on Instagram. I am always on the IG, like always. Everyone on here who follows me and communicates with me knows I'm always on IG. So the quicker way to talk to me is through DMing me. And I do want to let you guys know. Oh, it's Emoji J, are you here? Can you drop my IG on here, please? So yeah, you guys, make sure you follow me on there so you can keep in touch with me. And also, I want to let you guys know that for 2024, I am working on having a streaming schedule. You guys, of course, know that I work, I model all the time, and I have been getting booked lately a lot. Thankfully, I'm very happy about that. But I am working on having more of a streaming schedule. I know I've slacked a little bit this year. Besides Own It, I haven't been on here quite that much, but I do want to make a point to make time for you guys and make fun streams and work on that. So bear with me, keep in tune. Make sure you favorite me if you're new on here and you check out not only Own It every Tuesday as a feature show, but also my future streams on here, okay? So quick couple of reminders because I'm seeing it in the I'm seeing it in the comment box. This is a feature show. I know the show is not a produced show with OBS and the whole stuff, but it is a feature show. It's a featured talk show. So that means that unfortunately I cannot acknowledge each and every one of you guys individually, even though I try sometimes. And also, the guests are pre-booked. So basically, if you would like to be part of Own It as a guest, make sure you hit up my amazing admin Emoji J, and he's going to put you on the guest list for the next shows, okay? So today's topic is loving yourself as you age. And how, like I mentioned earlier, I chose this topic because myself, sometimes I have fallen into the pressure of being a woman who is aging, right? So when you're a woman and you're aging, there's all these pressures about marriage and kids and the whole shebang. And I figure that because my guest fairy godmother, she's a proud 64-year-old woman who's doing so much, comedian, a streamer. Guys, if she's doing it, what tells you that you cannot do something? You can do anything you put your mind to. It doesn't matter how old you are. And this is something I struggle with myself. I've gotten way better this year, but there's been times that I've gotten sad thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting older and I'm not married. And I've had to learn and do the inner work and really learn that I would rather wait longer for the right person, for the right situation, than hurry up and settle for someone who I know is not up to my standards of who I know I want right now. So with that said, do not put that pressure on you. Just let go, and whenever it's meant to happen, it's going to happen perfectly and abundantly for you. And so I want to go ahead and give you the quote of the day, as you know that I always do on here. And this quote, there were a couple of quotes that I felt I could relate to and I liked. However, this one really touched me because it spoke to me. It's something I tell myself all the time and I believe in. And this is the quote. I don't believe in age. I believe in energy. Don't let age dictate what you can and cannot do. I don't believe in age. I believe in energy. Don't let age dictate what you can and cannot do. And I literally, yes, energy is everything. I literally say this to myself every single day. I believe in energy so much more than age for everything. Just not just me, but for my friendships, my romantic interests. I believe in energy so much. I believe that what you put out, guys, be so careful with what you put out there because that is what it's going to come back to you. I don't care how long it takes. If you're a bad person, if you hurt people intentionally, if you're putting out there bad juju, I'm sorry, whether you believe it or not, it's going to come back to you. So energy is everything, and people can read energy as well. And that, I don't let my age tell me anymore what I can and cannot do. Aging, I love aging. It's a beautiful process, even though I'm still young, but we're all getting there, you guys. I don't care if you're 18 or 48. We're all going to the same place. And to me, the other thing I just want to share with all of you is getting older, it's a blessing. I unfortunately have had two people in my life in the past, two friends who unfortunately have passed away at a very young age. They were both in their 20s, both in their late 20s, but 27 and 28 at the time, I believe. And it's a very sad thing. And so to me, that very early on, a long time ago, gave me so much more perspective when it came to I appreciate every single birthday. For a lot of people, birthdays are not a big deal. For me, birthdays are a big deal. They're my favorite holiday. It's not a holiday, but for me in my life, they're my favorite holiday because I believe that birthdays, it doesn't matter how old you're turning, there's such a blessing because the biggest gift we can have is life. So if you're able to celebrate one more birthday, that means that you're alive and hopefully you're healthy as well, right? So because I've gone through those experiences with friends who passed away, I'm able to appreciate the fact that birthdays are just this amazing thing that we should all celebrate because we're here, right? So, with that said, welcome to Own It. Don't go anywhere because the show is not over yet. I want to invite on the guest box my second guest of the day, and she's here. And she's an amazing streamer. A lot of you guys know her. I believe yeah, we've definitely met before. She's been on the show before, right? Or was it like a private stream? No, I think it was on the show. Anyways, but she's amazing. Her name is Velma, and she's mastering in counseling. Yes, you were on the show. Okay, I knew I talked to you. Yeah, of course I know you, and I knew I talked to you already. She's mastering in counseling, and she's a daily stretch. She has a daily stretch streamer. Please, everybody, welcome to Own It, Velma. Hi. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear her? Because I can't. Welcome everybody. Whoever she's gonna come back. Whoever's new on here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure that you click on the favorite button and you connect with me on Instagram. Okay, sounds good. She's gonna come back. But yeah, you guys, if you guys are new in here, this is Own It. Thank you, Moji J. Make sure you connect with me on Instagram. We build that bond. And also, I want to say how much I appreciate you guys being here and connecting with me. And yeah, just stay connected. Keep in touch with the upcoming streams in 2024. Can you guys believe that 2024 is here already? It is wild. This year went by like this. I can't even believe it. Okay, let's try this again.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. I'm glad to see you.
Show.
Yeah. I'm just grateful to be here. It's funny, I was doing my stretch stream this morning, and the topic was how important is hair? And I brought that up because I think it's actually a big part of people's identity. They don't even realize it. But when we age or we go through some sort of health issue, like we can lose our hair. And like, we can find people beautiful in any way. But it was funny because then that's very connected to what your topic of the day is. How do we move through aging? Um, Myself, I have always been like, people thought that I was much younger than I've been. And so it's kind of been interesting. I had to prove how old I was. People are like, you're not 37, Velma. That's a lie. And I'm like, well, I remember Blockbusters and the VCR, and I like start naming off all the things. And I think the point of your topic though is how do you go through that mental health process of seeing yourself as a different version of yourself as you age? And for me, one of the biggest times where I had to rethink about that was when, right after having my child, my body shifted like tremendously. I didn't feel like the way I had my whole life. I was just like, this is not beautiful to me. Like, and I had to be honest about that. I was like, this sucks. This is not great. But it's because my body changed and I wasn't ready for that. I took about 3 years to kind of do a lot of thinking about it, going from, okay, it's not what it was, to, wow, look at all the amazing things that my body did. My body created a whole new human. My body is amazing. My body is a body. And I think that it's okay to look at yourself and not say, oh, I'm like stunning or anything like that. It's okay to look at yourself and just appreciate what your body does for you. And by allowing myself to sit in that space and just really like be uncomfortable, I was able to grow from that. And now I'm so proud of my body, and I feel like there's all sorts of things about my body that's beautiful, and I really don't need anyone else's approval to feel that way. So that's kind of what comes to mind when I think about your topic is the different stages that we go through, and how those things change us, and that it might not just be like jumping from one positive rock to another. Sometimes we stumble and have a uncomfortable moment, and that's totally okay because that's part of life.
So what do you think, what was that point where it shifted for you, your mindset?
I think sometimes for me, I just get tired of being angry, or I get tired of being sad, and I'm like, I don't want to be in that space anymore. I don't want to feel like just like I blend in or anything. I want to like start to look at what are the things that make me shine in this world. And so I redefined what beauty was for myself. And then I started talking to people. We start kind of like attracting like-minded people. And then they see the beauty in you, and you're kind of like just have this whole snowball effect. And so I think like really it's funny that we were talking about streaming earlier with Fairy Godmother, because when I started streaming, it was a lot of affirmations I wasn't prepared for. And then I had to shift my perspective and say, well, this must not be like just a one person saying that you're beautiful. Like this is lots and lots of people. I'm like, what is it that they see? It's a whole journey. And I think that it was because I was willing to be open to hearing things and like do a lot of like self-evaluation about what is it that makes me feel beautiful and makes me feel magnetic in the room. And I don't think that has anything to do with your age. So
I totally agree because when I don't wear makeup, I'll go to places and I'll get carded all the time. And it's also, you guys see me a little bit more serious here on the show because it's a feature show, but I have a very youthful, young personality, and I totally agree with you. It's the energy that you bring, right? It's not really your age.
Absolutely. Yeah, my grandpa is 89 years old, and he still does lap swimming 3 times a week. And like, I think it's like, what do you do with your life? Who do you hang around? Like, it's a bunch of different things. It's not just like the packaging, you know, it's what's inside that's really amazing. That's what you really fall in love with in a person. And I think that's beauty is way more than what's on the surface. So, um, yeah, I also agree with you that every single year is such a blessing. Um, Many people didn't get to wake up today. Um, and so every single day, every single moment, I think to myself, like, oh, today was not a great day, right? And I'm like, okay, time to go to sleep. The sun's going to get up tomorrow. So am I, you know? So it's, you can try again the next day. And you never really know what you're going to get.
And even saying that, which is already a very positive way of looking at it, even saying that, we don't even know if we're going to wake up, and that is the reality of life, right? um so to me, life is such a blessing too. I get my sad moments, but just like you, I just say to myself, one more day, I go to bed, or I spend a day. I have this rule with myself that when I'm not feeling on my 100, I take an entire day, if I can, of course. If you have work or whatever, just roll it over to the next time you can spend time alone. But I give myself one day to cry, to feel, to Netflix, whatever, one day. And then the next day, I'm like, okay, back to being amazing.
100%. Yeah, you fully go hard on all the emotions, get them out, give them a space to breathe so that you can be yourself again the next day. You don't have to hold that baggage along with you. I appreciate that substantially.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing so much and sharing your story and just opening up and being vulnerable. I know that, we've met before, and you've always been such an amazing person to talk to. I want to ask you, do you have anything, like any shout outs you want to give to yourself, to the show, your
Oh
streams?
gosh. I mean, I was telling Jay, like, I love Sicily. Of course I want to come talk to her again anytime. So you, Emoji Jay is like one of the most generous people on the app, like so talented. I'm just so grateful to be connected with like good people around you. You're like you can live a better life by surrounding yourself with people that inspire you. And so that's what I'm choosing to do as I move forward through this app is I'm not going to spend time with people that are taking. I would like to be around people that have a lot to share. Um, because there's plenty of people that have lots to share that is really helpful.
I love that. I love that. And then what is something that, thank you guys, what is a word of advice or something you want to share with people on here?
I would say don't be afraid to weed your garden, take a little inventory every once in a while and maybe distance yourself from people that you're not, when you think about that person in your life and you're not excited about them immediately, then maybe like take a little break from them. Keep your circle a little bit smaller so that you can make sure that you're watering your own grass first. If you water everybody else's grass, their grass is going to be all green and yours is dead. But go ahead and water your own grass. Keep your circle small. Keep your energy. Protect your peace. It's all like wrapped up in one.
No, and I love that you brought that up, because that's something that this year, and very specifically the last, I want to say 3-4 months, I've really been working. I've been working on for a long time, but I've really been practicing it, and it's keeping my circle small and learning how to say no. Because growing up and years ago, I used to be such a people pleaser, and now I'm very outspoken. I'm very blunt and direct. I don't beat around the bush. And especially when it comes to my business and the things that I do, I've had to say no to a couple of things lately that just simply didn't align with me and what I want and who I am. And sometimes it stings because the person that is offering you whatever it is you know, whether it's friendship or an event or whatever it is in your world, right? In my world, it was a work job related thing that just didn't align with me. But that doesn't mean that person is a bad person. He's such a good person, but it's not, it stings a little bit, but it's one of those moments where you just cannot feel bad if it's not something you genuinely feel aligned with and you genuinely want to do.
Yeah, that's like you chose to water your own grass. You're not just saying, okay, I'm going to make you feel better by doing this. I'm doing this for me. That's so wonderful. You're doing
Yeah.
it.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being on the show. And don't go anywhere. I would love to have you back in a few minutes if you're around.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Velma.
No
I'll see you
problem. Thank you.
soon. Everybody, give Velma a huge shout out. She's amazing. Thank you guys for tuning in and being here and just sharing your energy and sharing just everything you are and the amazing person that you are. I want to, first of all, if you're new, I want to introduce myself. My name is Cicely. I go by that Cuban girl because yes, I am Cuban. And the intention with this feature show, it's simply so you and I can become the best versions of ourselves through owning the uniqueness of who we are. The reason I am so proud of this show and I am so grateful to have this show is because when I started streaming, I wanted to thank you so much. When I started streaming, I wanted to not just stream for the diamonds or not just stream just to stream. I wanted to do something valuable and I have so much that I can share, because I've been in entertainment for the last 10 to 12 years. I've done a little bit of everything, acting, modeling. I've been a ring girl for boxing. I'm a former beauty queen. I was Miss Cuba at one point. I've done it all. And I have so much knowledge, not only experience in that area, but also my inner journey, my spiritual journey. I'm a very spiritual person and I feel like I have so much wisdom that I don't want to die with all of that inside of me. I want to be able to share it with people because at one point in my life, in my journey, I had people that, have helped me in my life. So now I want to do the same for other people. So with that said, I'm so proud of this show because I feel like in a way I'm giving back to you guys, right? So I would love to connect with you. I also have a YouTube channel. If you go to That Cuban Girl, you can check out my YouTube channel. And yeah, you guys, thank you for your energy and being here. I'm gonna do a couple of shout outs before we close the show. Thank you. Let me do a couple of shout outs to my top 10 supporters of the stream today. Number 10, Mr. Fix-It Brad. Number 9, Ben. Number 8, Angel Moreno. Thank you. Number 7, Kim Goober. Number 6, Salian Drawing. Hopefully, I don't have an accent. Hopefully I said that correctly. Salian Drawings. Number 5, Velma. Thank you. Number 4, The Alchemist. Number 3, Smurfy's Daddy King. Number 2, Fairy Godmother. Number 1, Just Roar. So whoever is my top supporter at the